What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the pod, the JP Show podcast. It's been a minute. Yeah, been busy taking care of, some stuff. About to be a certified paralegal. That's about to happen. Yeah. Just been busy with that. I was sick. Had to get healthy again. But welcome back. So today's episode, we're going to dive into the Netflix series Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. This is like the number one thing right now. It's being talked about. So today's episode is going to be a little different. I am talking about a TV series. We are just going to dive into the thing today because it's 10 episodes. I don't need to explain that to y'all, man. Y'all seen it. So, I'll say this, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, hey, go watch it. But, yeah. So, I'm not going to be talking about, we're going to get right into the discussion. I'm going to give you, we're going to have the topic question, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, guys. So, just to recap, Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer, a crazy guy. I don't like to use the word crazy, but in this case, bruh. Killed 17 people. I put that at the beginning of this episode. I just want to say rest in peace to all of his victims. And even though the series is this thing, Ryan Murphy and all this other stuff, people died, families were affected. So we should keep them in our thoughts. We should consider them. And rest in peace to the victims, man. It's quite terrifying and disgusting, and just absolutely just insane. It's sad that they had to cross paths with this man. You know what I mean? But yeah. So to recap, story tells the story of this infamous serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer. He pretty much killed 17 people. And how he did it was one of them he killed. It wasn't an accident. Maybe it was. From the show's perspective, it was an accident, but he enjoyed it. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was an accident, but not really. And it just was downhill from there from him. He admitted that. Like, after the first victim, I was just like, well, the urge is here, man. I enjoyed it. And if you watch the series, he enjoyed it. But, long story short, this dude was a predator. He preyed on young black gay men, young gay men of color, and he would, he was a predator. He lured them back into his apartment. He drugged them. He'd kill them, and he would, I'm gonna quickly just say it. He dismembered them, and he would sometimes eat them. He would keep the parts for himself. Watch the series. I don't want to get into the the gruesomeness of what it was, but this man was a murdering cannibal that he did all of this from the 80s, early 90s. He was caught in 1990 or 1991 or something, and it's unfortunate because the series dives into it too. The racism behind it, the classism in it, the homophobia in it. It's just yeah, it's quite unfortunate that this is, this is part of the world, it's part of the society we live in, and it's relevant to today, especially a lot of the social issues that they discuss. Speaking of discussion, like I said, we're getting right into it. So today's topic question is, why do we as Americans celebrate serial killers? I'll repeat that. Why do we as Americans celebrate serial killers? I knew who Jeffrey Dahmer was before this series, before the kids or whoever, if you didn't hear of him until now, like, I knew who he was as a child. So in the, like, as I started to understand things in, like, I guess the late 90s, my mother explained to me who he was. My mom, she's always been into, like, true crime and law and all these things. So she would explain to me, who he was. Because I don't really remember. I just remember asking her, like, about Hannibal, the fake character from Silence of the Lambs. So I had asked her about Hannibal, and then she explained to me what a cannibal was and whatever. But she explained to me, like, yo, like, nah, these people exist. Jeffrey Dahmer was a real person, and it's to me. I watched this series because I'm a fan of Ryan Murphy's work. I am also a fan of the main actor in it, Evan Peters, and Niecy Nash is in it, and yeah, yes. So Evan Peters played Jeffrey Dahmer. Niecy Nash, she was one of I forgot the name. She was one of the characters that lived next door to him. And Richard Jenkins, who was, he was, I guess, a supporting actor, but a necessary character in this series was, he played Lionel Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer's father. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had, it's a series, right? There was a writer's room, you know what I mean? Different directors for each episodes for some of them. So it's like, it's a dramatization. Niecy Nash's character, the only thing I know is that she didn't live next door to him. She was a hybrid of someone who lived in the adjacent building I'll get into that. She lived into the adjacent building from Jeffrey Dahmer, and there was a neighbor across the hall who lived across from Jeffrey Dahmer, not next door to Jeffrey Dahmer. But Niecy Nash did a fantastic job. I loved her character. She was fantastic, and what her character symbolized, and yeah, just like how important. Yeah, her character symbolized like racism, classism, ageism, because he got away a lot of the times. He got away. The police had an opportunity to save one of the victims, and they let Jeffrey just take him back inside. And this was a 14-year-old boy, by the way. So, hey, we don't got to get into, police and all of that in this country. But it's really, like I said, it's just really sad and unfortunate. So yeah, getting back to on topic to the question. I was discussing this with one of my friends, like, coming up with this question, where it was just like, okay, what is it? We were just asking questions about the question. And it had me thinking a lot. And I'm just like, it's still unanswered. It's more like, this is going to be more unanswered. So I encourage everyone who hears this, who watches this, to, give me your thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and we could have, like, I'm going to respond. I want to engage with everybody. So, because this is one of those, like, questions where it's just like everybody will have some sort of answer that's similar or different, and I don't think, because there is no definitive answer to why. I mean, we could discuss what the possibilities are, but it's just still unanswered on why we know this is so heinous. This dude murdered and ate people. He ate people, yo. Like 30 years later, he's famous again. He's infamous. You know what I mean? Like, and it's, again, it's a dramatization, but we go to these things to be entertained. These were real people that are not here with us. These are real families that have forever been effective, and, like, you know what I mean, their lives have changed. Things we're just watching it like, damn, like, that's crazy. What? This is nuts. Like, what's going on? And it's just for our entertainment. Like, we just sitting back chilling. And it's just, I think that's something to, like, really explore and investigate as a people, you know. And the reason why I say American is because I'm an American citizen. I could admit, like, you know, just in my conditioning, being in American society, is like, I like violence too. I watch football. I watch, you know, hand-to-hand combat, UFC, boxing. These things are entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, these are violent things. And I believe our history has a major part to do with it. But it can't be the end all be all reason of, like, yeah, so it's just in our history, so that's why we like violence and we celebrate and glorify violence and brutality, and, you know, this specific, you know, just getting, you know, this specific question of, like, serial killers, where it's just like what, let's really sit back and think, like, all these school shooters, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we gonna sit back and watch? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the story 30 years from now about the school shooters of today running up in the school, killing a bunch of little kids. You know what I mean? Like Texas, the shooting that happened in Texas, that was disgusting and sick. The shit that happened in Connecticut, disgusting and sick. Sandy Hook, the Florida, like, bro, like, it's in, like, where does it end? You know what I mean? Like, these are the questions, and these are the thoughts that I think we need to discuss. Like, sure, like, this was a great series. Ryan Murphy knocked it out of the park again. It's Ryan Murphy, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm seeing a pattern with shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm seeing a pattern where, are we trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I could ask, are we trying to learn from this? Are we trying to, like, understand these types of people? You know what I mean? Like, we could go on YouTube. We could watch his interviews. We could watch all these guys' interviews, all the infamous ones. And it's just like, I don't, like, are we getting better from it? Are we studying it and investigating it and watching it and dramatizing it and getting educated on it so we could prevent these types of people? Or is this just like, yo, more content? You know what I mean? Like, and like, yeah, we celebrate the gangster, we celebrate the outlaw, we celebrate these things in our culture. You know what I mean? But now it's just like, like I said, the gangster and the outlaw, right? The cowboy, you know what I mean? The gangster, Scarface, Al Capone, these things, right? And they're damn near like heroic symbols for some people. So over time, is a killer and the nature of a killer gonna be like the thing we celebrate after some time passes? You feel me? Like, it's really one of those intriguing things where it's just like, how, like what's the purpose other than to entertain, right? This is America, we love our entertainment. But like, to what end? You get what I mean? Like, I understand the purpose of entertainment and education, edutainment, but we had Ted Bundy. You know what I mean? Zac Efron knocked it out of the park with that Ted Bundy film. Women still getting killed, dog. That didn't stop anything. You know what I mean? Women are still this. It ain't safer for what I mean for women out here. Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I mean? Like, sure, we haven't heard of anyone eating anyone on this. You know what I mean? Doing this type of stuff, but it's just like, yo, some kid who's never heard of this. Never heard of him. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want this shit to spark curiosity. You feel me? Because, again, the mind is still hasn't been unlocked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and here's the thing. We tend to, when these things go down, we shun these people away. We ain't studying them. We ain't trying to understand them. At the end of the series, the mother was like, yo, we have an opportunity to study his brain and why he did the things he did. And the father was like, no, understandably so, because he wanted to respect his son's wishes. I understand that the father, at the end of the day, I was like, yo, that's my son. He's, you know what I mean? He's sick, all this other stuff. And I want to, you know what I mean? Like, we could fucking hate him, but that's still his son. He's not going to hate his son. And watch the series. He feels like it's his fault as a father. He feels like he failed as a father. And, respecting, his wishes, Jeffrey Dahmer said, I want to be cremated. You know what I mean? That was like the entire body needs to be cremated. And, they cremated his brain. They burned his brain. And now we won't, like, they highlighted that, like, damn, like, we're never going to know. Or, you know what I mean? Like, what, is there something that we can see to try and understand the mind of this type of person? But no, got destroyed, got cremated. So, like, again, you know what I mean? Like, what is the purpose? You know what I mean? And if there's Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer was here, you think this dude's bad? Well, I mean, he's horrible. He ate people. John Wayne Gacy about to get his. And here's the thing: it's like, it's numbers, it's capitalism. Like, this shit is, I'm operating in it too, right? I'm adding to it too. I watched the entire series. You know what I mean? I pay my subscription too, but it's really a curious, like, subject where it's just like, this is fucked up, dog. Like, and it's just like, this wasn't a series about the victims. It wasn't like each episode was about the victims or, in their family. There was one that highlighted one of the victims, but, it's not called The Victims of Jeffrey Dahmer. It's called Dahmer. It's his life story from childhood all the way up until, his, heinous ass crimes up until his death, killed in prison. Yeah, it's, like I said, I'm sitting here still thinking, because it's one of those things that really don't have an answer. And I encourage you guys, hit me, man, engage with me, just leave some thoughts in the comments, hit me on socials, whatever. Whenever you hear this or see this, let's have this open discussion, because it's like, and here's the thing: if you like this type of stuff, it is a judgment free zone. You feel me? Like, my mom loves true crime. You know what I mean? Like, I don't judge my mother. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I have, because I'm just like, what are you watching? It's like, bro, it's like, it's 10 a.m. on a Sunday. Why are you watching this? This is what you want to watch. But, it's again, it's really a judgment free zone, because the purpose behind this question is like, I want us to just be aware of what we're consuming. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, interesting. I enjoyed the story. I learned something wild. Matter of fact, let's get into this. It's wild. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, I believe that there's entities, spirits. We, you know, we they're in religion, right? You know what I mean? God, angels, devils, demons, like it's in religion. And I believe that there's a certain energy. I don't think it's the way our perspective and the way we have framed it and scoped it. I feel like it's just and it's in another dimension that we don't understand. We believe that we'll either see it at death. We believe that we'll see it when, there's so many different perspectives and point of views. But this is something that I learned that I think is crazy, and it's because it's unexplainable. It makes sense. Jeffrey Dahmer learned about John Wayne Gacy when he was locked up. He already got his sentence. He got like 15 consecutive life terms. That makes sense. What? And he asked for the death penalty. Mind you, he admitted to his crimes, asked for the death penalty, and the justice system was like, nah, you could die in prison. And then, if you come back, you could do it another 14 times. Yeah. Good job. He learns about John Wayne Gacy. He is like in a place of comparing himself where he goes to the prison priest, and he's like, am I, he's just asking those questions like, yo, am I just like evil? If I'm like, you know what I mean? If there's good in this world, and in order for there to be good, there has to be evil. And am I just this walking thing of evil? Like, I worship the devil as a kid when I dressed, for Halloween, I dressed up as the devil. It felt right. It felt good. Am I just that? Like, do I have, you know what I mean? And the priest was like, no, I don't, we have a matter, which we have we're human beings. We're given choice by God. And I think, I don't know if it was for selfish reasons. I don't know. Dude decides to get baptized and accept Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior on the day that this crazy motherfucker John Wayne Gacy gets executed, and there's an eclipse, a solar eclipse in the sky. If that ain't creepy and I don't know what that symbolizes. I don't know. You got two of the most evil dudes in the modern era that we know of. Just like on some yeah, it's some one is dying with no remorse for what he did. His last, John Wayne Gacy, by the way, I'm gonna be specific. Who I'm gonna explain. John Wayne Gacy. His last words were, how about y'all could kiss my ass? This man murdered, what we know of, 33 boys and young men from this, like in the 70s into the 80s or in this, just in the, I don't know. But he got more bodies than Jeffrey Dahmer. And dude murdered and raped these young boys, and then like hid the bodies around his property, like in, under the house and all this other shit. This dude was just as worse, and he about to get his. I know he about to get his shit. I know he about to get a story. He was in the Dahmer thing. And yeah, his last words, kiss. How about y'all could kiss my ass? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just forces and energies. You know what I'm saying? And then some people just. I believe that some people just operate on that frequency where it's just like, it's unfortunate, but it's just like they just do, like it's just evil, you know what I mean? But then it's like, what is evil? But we're not gonna get into that. That's a whole other topic of discussion. I mean, we don't got time for that today. But yeah, like, just again, these men are evil. These men took lives, many of them, multiple. Why are they celebrated? Why are we entertained by them? I mean, there's some violent shit in this series. They don't show it. It's implied. Now they don't show it. It's implied. It's said. It's told to us. Are we picturing it? Are we envisioning it? Are we putting, you know what I mean? Like, where does our mind go? Because we're visual creatures, right? So where does our mind go? Feel me? Like, they don't really show no crazy shit until the end anyway. You know what I mean? Like, they don't show him, like I said, spoiler alert, if you ain't see it, oh well. But yeah, they don't really show him chopping up shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's implied. It's, you know what I mean? Like, they don't. What do you? Where does your mind go? Where does your mind go? Yeah, that shit is definitely something to think about. Again, leave your thoughts in the comments. Why, as Americans, do we celebrate our killers? Not all of them, but the most heinous and infamous ones. You feel me? Like, it's yeah. It's really something I think we should think about as a people. Like, because the power is within the people, and we don't. Again, I feel like we don't be seeing that. We be blind to that and forgetting that how together can nothing stop us. Not a corporation. Not nothing. Not even us. You know what I mean? But let's I have some other thoughts about it too. I'm gonna give you my full scope on what I think it can be. I don't think it's just an American thing. Yes, our country was born and bred out of violence, but so is Western society, down to mankind, and just from the time we've come to be. I just think we're not civilized. I think we like to think we're civilized, but we aren't. I think we're some sick savages. We're sophisticated savages. That's what we are. We're sophisticated savages. And let me tell you why. And I think that's why we fucking love this shit, especially in Western society. Maybe not cannibalism. I wouldn't know. I didn't. This is just me off the fly. I didn't do like proper dive into any crazy type of research. But brutal men throughout history have been celebrated. Down even to today. You get what I'm saying? We know every president has dropped bombs across the planet on people in the third world. We know that. We celebrate it. We're not that, but we celebrate our president. He said that he gave the okay. Mr. President, da 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 da. Okay. Send our boys. You know what I'm saying? Send the troops. And, a whole group of people are no longer here. Let's take it even back. Yeah. Gladiators, brutal men. We celebrate them. Men on the front lines, when fighting wars were swords and shields, swinging an axe into somebody's head. Just another day's work for that dude. He's celebrated. He's high ranking. Give him anything he wants. Have a feast. Indulge. Oh, you want women? How many? And they'd rape. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that we call sick and disgusting, and we put them in jail, and we execute them and we shun them out of society and all these things today, they were celebrated in our history. Shit, our American history. Don't need to do I need to go into slavery? There's statues of these niggas out still. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's statues of these generals and such. Our presidents. These motherfuckers was brutal. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it just in our nature? Are we kidding ourselves saying that we're civilized? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. Like, we just sophisticated savages. We may not be savages with fucking swords and spears and rocks and all this other shit, but maybe we savages with a fucking tie on. You know what I'm saying? And an ascot and a pipe. That don't mean, you know what I'm saying? Just because you don't got a spear in your hand and you running through the jungle don't mean you a savage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Is it human nature? Is it biology? Is it just in our nature, like, to just be fucked up and we're just trying to pretend that we're not like that? Because damn near, excuse me, damn near what, especially in America, like, you know how many murders happen every fucking year in this fucking country? Like, compared to the world? Stop it, bruh. Stop it. Excuse me. Yeah, man. What? Yeah, what I think what it is just, honestly, it's in our nature. It's in our nature because we have evolved in other ways. You know what I mean? Like, we've evolved in how to survive as entities, as living, breathing entities on the planet. And you know what I mean? Like, we beat harsh environment, right? So no matter the weather, I'm inside of this 4 walls and a ceiling and I'll be okay. If I need to go outside, I don't, my feet not gonna be fucked up. You feel me? Like, I got shoes, I have clothing, protect myself from the elements outside. So does that mean we're civilized, or are we like just surviving really awesomely against the planet? Because civilized people, I feel like being civilized is a true elevation of consciousness amongst the masses. And we are not there yet because we still have wars. War has literally become a video game at this point. We still have murder. We're still in a system where the few have more power than the many, in a system that eats people. You know what I mean? Capitalism needs to feed on people to survive. Like, what you see the words that I'm saying? Like, what is so sophisticated about this shit? You know what I mean? What's so civilized about this shit? You know what I mean? Like, and back to the, what I'm talking about. Like, this guy killed 17 people and ate them. Let's watch the show about it with a remote. You feel me? Like, I just still think we're kidding ourselves. You know what I mean? Law and order. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that's on death row that have no business being on death row. This dude had a head in the refrigerator and got 15 consecutive life sentences, so he gets to live out the rest of his life. What if he wasn't killed in prison? You see what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't going to die unless somebody took it into his own hands. Unless, his killer took it into his own hands. He wasn't going to die. If he was going to die, he's going to die peacefully at the end of his life. If he was never killed in prison. Like, what's that about? He ate people, dog. And I understand the purpose of law is to have the victims feel justified in the actions against their perpetrator. In all levels of the law. But this is America, baby. You know, we all know that your bank account and complexion is a factor in what you, whatever side of the law you're on. Your bank account and your complexion, dog. That you know what I'm saying? Like, that's shouldn't be a factor, but it is. That shit not fair. Law ain't fair, my nigga. Like I said, there are innocent people on death row. He asked to be put on death row, and the judge was like, nope, 15 consecutive life sentences, which I also understand the thing behind that, right? Because in life, you're gonna go through suffering, and to be in jail for the rest of your life is a form of suffering, and I understand that. But I mean, like, if I said, oh, true justice is, once, he's found guilty, because I do believe everyone should get a fair trial, even though this one was so obvious. He admitted everything. Everything was just like, yo, bruh, like, you did this. You need to be punished for it. What if the punishment, and I, just like hypothetically, justice is like, oh, so, whoever in the victim's families, whoever, get to have 10 minutes in a room with him with no cameras. Here's a blunt force object. Here's a bladed object. No cameras, no repercussions. That's a form of justice. Just saying. You know what I mean? John Wayne Gacy spent some years behind jail and claimed that he wasn't right? He was just like, oh, I'm innocent. This is crazy. I made my peace with God, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. John, and his last words were, kiss my ass. If I'm in a room where I get to watch the execution as a family member or whatever, and I had to hear that, nah, don't kill him. Let me give me. I'm just speaking for me. Give me 5 minutes in a room with him. You want me to kiss his ass? Nah, give me 5 minutes. No cameras. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a form of justice, but there's laws against that. You see what I'm saying? The shit not balanced, bro. Like, you get what I mean? Like, oh man, it's this is America, baby. Shit don't gotta make sense. Shit could be ass backwards. This is America. I get it. But yeah, I really think it's just in our nature. And I like and in some cases, man, let's just be real. Like, let's just be real with ourselves. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Like, we are not civilized, man. We savage, man. Like, I knew about dude, and I'm guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, damn, I know this story, but like, it's Ryan Murphy. Damn. It's Evan Peters. Oh man, this dude is the man. Like, and I'm just like, but it's like fucked up, bro. These are questions for myself. I'm not even asking just y'all. Like, I'm asking myself this. Like, what is it about this shit? Why do you know what I mean? Like, I like, my favorite genre in film is the gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my favorite film genre is the gangster, by any means. We get into the success by any means. You know what I'm saying? We know what by any means. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it in my conditioning that makes me like this shit? I love UFC. That shit is fucking great. Come on. Come on, man. Like, I love boxing. I love football. Look at the effects of this shit. Like, it's terrible, man. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And we're supposed to be evolving. I'm not saying we're going to be evolving in our lifetime, but it's just like, I would think every generation we're seeing some sort of elevation in humanity. No. Technology is kicking our ass. We elevating there, but not elevating in like evolving, elevating consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild. Cause I know this John Wayne Gacy show coming, bro. That shit is coming. Again, the Ted Bundy shit, great. Both the docuseries and the film. This show is number one right now. John Wayne Gacy, they had a docuseries where it was the John Wayne Gacy tapes, where it's just like, you know, the interviews and what he has to say about, you know, what he did. And shit, that shit was entertaining as fuck. So I watched it. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, we're intrigued, we're interested as people, like, who don't have those minds, which is fine. Curiosity is great. That's great but like, what are we learning? You see what I'm saying? Are we preventing this? Are we going to catch the signs early? Is there a certain behavior? We don't have the answers to this yet. And again, it's just like, these people killed off of like impulse and fantasy fulfillment in these things. It's not like a hitman or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not none of that. It's like he said, I have urges. I'm just living out fantasies. And it's just like, yo, what? You know what I mean? Where it's just like, what is this mental spectrum? You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, clearly they're on some part of the spectrum where it's just like brutality and death and, you know what I'm saying? And just predatory monster shit is normal for them. We still don't understand them. What's the point? What are we learning? Because we definitely not trying to understand them. We send them out. We literally send them out of society. And then after, 2-3 decades go by, yo, this shit is interesting. We should, let's do a show. Let's do a movie. Let's make some money off this shit. Feel me? Yeah. I really think this is a great topic of discussion. Judgment free. Why, as Americans, do we celebrate our serial killers? It's damn, it's really unanswered. It's really an unanswered thing. But to get back into the show, I want to dive into just some of the social things that I got to see where it really, like I said, it showed classism, racism, fucking sexism, homophobia. It's insane that it's not insane. White man to himself, little socially awkward, who had, during the time of his murdering spree, he was averaging like 2 a month. Dude was on like probation for like child molestation charges, bruh. You know what I mean? He lived in the hood. Let's just keep it a buck. He lived in the hood in the middle of Milwaukee somewhere. Lived in the hood. White guy. You got your neighbor complaining. Black woman complaining to the police, telling the police, my neighbor is fucked up. I'm smelling shit. There's, there's different people going inside, not coming out. You know what I mean? And the first sign was, the victim's name, I forget, but this kid was 14, bruh. It's 14. And he fucking managed to make it out of the apartment. He was drugged. This nigga Jeffrey Dahmer goes to the store. That's what I'm saying. This nigga is Normal behavior. Oh, I drugged this kid. I'm about to fucking chop him up and eat him. But let me run to the store real quick. That's who he was. This kid manages to wake up. He's drugged. He's incoherent, but he knows he's not in a good situation. Runs out of the apartment building. And the police are there, like Nietzsche Nash's character. I'm forgetting this woman's name. I'm horrible for that. But she's like, yo, this is like, this is a young boy. Like, what's going on? Jeffrey Dahmer pulls up like, hey, like, this is my boyfriend. Da, 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 da. And the cops are on some like, again, the cops just let, he was just like, oh, take him inside, such and such. The cops go inside of the apartment. Oh, like, it's just madness. But the cops were so homophobic. They, what I'm saying? He's a white man, right? He's trustworthy. He's one of us. But he's gay. I don't know. Goes into the apartment, tells the police, look around. It's so... Watch the series. Everything in the apartment, that had they just looked around properly and done their job, all of this would have been prevented. But American police, don't need to get into it. Bad at y'all job. Some of y'all. But yeah, like, because he was gay, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna go home and take a shower. Because why? Oh, you got some gay on you? Might get some gay on you. Shit, there's gay on me. Let me go wash that shit off. What the fuck? These people are supposed to protect people. Look what's going on. Not listening to a black woman. Not listening to her like, yo, I've called y'all. I've complained. I've done everything. Y'all have done nothing. Because I'm a black woman who lives in this particular area of the city, and who gives a fuck? And that's the classism. Who gives a fuck? That's why he's able to do this shit. Because he preyed on young black gay men, pretty much just disenfranchised, marginalized people. Who gives a fuck, right? It's the 80s, it's the early 90s, whatever the fuck ever. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? That's what people, the majority of people thought of these people. Black people, black gay people. You get what I'm saying? Like, fuck them. Who cares? And the one black dude who gets away and manages to get him caught, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was a whole thing. There was another dude who got away, managed to get, it was just crazy. Yo. Man. Watch the series. But, yeah. Entertaining. In some cases, for me, it was educational in a sense of thing. But it's things that I already knew, but it kind of did its job of like shining a light on the issues of that time. I will say that was the B plot. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's we gotta, I just feel like this is a great thing to discuss, guys. Give me your thoughts in the comments, man. What do you think about serial killers? What are your thoughts on as Americans, why do we celebrate our serial killers? This is a celebration. Dude got a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Who's getting a TV show? I don't see, you know what I'm saying? I don't see our greatest minds getting TV shows every year dropping. You know what I mean? Our scientists, where's Tamika Mallory show at? You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. You want some shit where there's drama and we don't know, blah, blah, blah. Talk about Black Lives Matter, the organization. They got a lot of things going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to get a show? Maybe. I don't know. But even if you don't agree with what's going on with the organization, you can't deny like some of the good that's happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the perfect thing for a story. There's both good and bad shit going on there. Where's they show at? You know what I'm saying? Where's Tamika Mallory show at? She been through some shit. You feel me? Like, where her show at? It's crazy. We celebrate. I just feel like we tend to go to like the dark shit and celebrate it and uphold it. But when the shit go down, it's the worst thing ever. Evil, 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 such and such. How could you? Blah 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 blah. And then years later, we make a show about it. Like, I think we need to see our relationship with what is happening within our society, and on the darker end, and you know what I mean. And like, why are we so drawn to it? Is it us? Is it just us? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. Yeah. I want you guys to really like just give me your thoughts in the comments, man. But I'm gonna end today's episode on that. This was a different type of episode. Yeah, Dahmer, the Jeffrey Dahmer stories on Netflix, 10 episodes. Great. It is entertaining. It's a great watch. Ryan Murphy knocked it out the park again. Shout out to all the actors. Y'all all did a fantastic job. And just for, one more time, let's I already put it at the beginning of this episode, but I'm gonna put their names up again because people died, people suffered, families suffered, and they shall not be forgotten. Even though this is about Jeffrey Dahmer, he's, his story is number one right now. Fuck Jeffrey Dahmer. If there is a hell, burn, motherfucker. And yeah, rest in peace to all the victims. And and just guys, just remember, like, these, they're the families of the victims too. You know what I mean? Let's not have them be silenced. Let's not have their, you know what I mean? I'm hearing things about, they're getting re-traumatized by this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this show is like kind of, you know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot that's happening with the show. It's a great show, but, we have to consider the families and what's going on with them. And yeah, I'm gonna put their names up again. Rest in peace to all the victims. But yeah, man, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, let's just, sit back, think about it, investigate yourself, and really, just think about it next time you turn on a true crime thing, or, even if you're watching this, like, am I celebrating this person, or am I trying to understand? Am I trying to educate myself? Yeah, man, but thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye-bye.